He used to coach his son's football team every Saturday morning, rain or shine. He was the one on the sideline with the clipboard and the whistle and the voice that carried all the way to the parking lot. He was the one who stayed after practice to help the kids who were struggling. He was the one the other fathers came to when they needed advice. He was 6'2", he was loud, he was present. He took up space in the best possible way. That man still exists, somewhere inside 880 pounds. He is still there, still waiting, still hoping someone will find a way back to him. This is that story. The story. His name is James. He is 43 years old. He has not been outside in 14 months. Not because he stopped wanting to, because the last time he tried to leave his house, he got stuck in the doorway. He stood in that doorway for 4 minutes. His son was in the car in the driveway, engine running, waiting. James pushed. He turned sideways. He tried every angle he knew, and then he went back inside. He sat down on the reinforced bench in the hallway. He listened to the car engine turn off. He listened to his son's footsteps on the path. He listened to the front door open, and his 17-year-old son walked in and sat beside him on the bench without saying a single word. They sat like that for a long time, just the two of them, in the hallway. The door still open behind them. That was 14 months ago. James has not tried the door since. His days have a structure that other people would not recognize as living. He wakes at 6. He needs help to get to the bathroom. His wife Carol manages this before she leaves for work. She has been doing it for 2 years without complaint, without making him feel like a problem to be managed. She does it the way she does everything, with a quiet steadiness that James does not know how to thank her for. His son Marcus brings breakfast before school. Not cereal, a real breakfast. The boy learned to cook 2 years ago specifically so his father would eat something warm in the mornings. He has never mentioned this. James worked it out himself. The television is on most of the day. Sports mainly. Football. He watches the game the way a man watches something he used to be part of. With knowledge, with opinions, with a grief underneath it that has no clean name. The couch was replaced 18 months ago. Reinforced. Custom ordered. It arrived on a truck and 3 men carried it in through the double doors of the living room. James watched from across the room. He did not sit on it until they left. The recliner before that had given way without warning one afternoon. He does not like to think about that afternoon. The walls of the house know him now in the way walls only know people who do not leave. Every scuff, every mark, every place where the paint has worn away from a shoulder passing too close. The house has shaped itself around him, and he has shaped himself around the house. And some days that feels like safety, and some days it feels like the most accurate definition of a trap he has ever known. The doctors come to him now. He has not been to a medical office in 3 years. The last time he tried the examination table collapsed. Nobody said anything unkind. Nobody had to. He did not go back. His GP visits every 6 weeks. She is a small woman with reading glasses and a directness James has come to respect. She does not soften things. She told him 18 months ago that his heart was carrying a load it was not designed for. She told him that his blood pressure was at a level that required daily monitoring. She told him that his knees were deteriorating in a way that would eventually mean he could not walk even within the house. She told him that she needed him to understand that the path he was on had a destination. James listened to all of it. He said he understood. He watched her pack her bag. He watched her leave. And then he sat with the television on and the sound turned down, and he thought about the doorway, about the 4 minutes, about his son sitting beside him on the bench, about Carol getting up every morning and doing what needs to be done, without ever once looking at him like he was less than what he had been. He thought about all of that, and then he picked up the remote and turned the sound back up, because thinking about it was too much, and not thinking about it was the only thing he knew how to do. James grew up the second of 4 brothers. His father was a carpenter. His mother worked at the school where James and his brothers went. They were not rich. They were the kind of family where nothing was wasted and everything was shared, and the table was always full. even when the money was not. Food was abundance. Food was proof that things were okay. A full plate meant someone had worked hard that day. An empty plate meant you appreciated what had been given. James grew up understanding food as love in its most direct form. He carried that understanding into adulthood without examining it. He was active through his 20s, football on weekends, a physical job that kept him moving, a body that processed everything without complaint. He got married at 28. Marcus arrived 2 years later. His father died when James was 32. A heart attack. Sudden. No warning. The man who built things with his hands and never wasted anything and always made the table full was gone on a Thursday morning before James could get to the hospital. He did not eat at the funeral. He ate for 3 weeks afterward. Not from hunger, from something that had no other outlet. He had been the strong one his whole life, the one who held things together, the one with the voice that carried to the parking lot. And now his father was gone, and the grief was bigger than any version of strong he had ever been. And the only thing that made it quiet, even for a few minutes, was food. The weight came slowly at first, then faster. The job changed from physical to desk-based when he was 35. The movement stopped. The eating did not. He told himself he would deal with it later. He told himself after this project, after this month, after the new year, after Marcus's birthday, after. Until one Tuesday afternoon, he tried to leave his own house, and the doorway said no. The turning point did not come from a doctor. It did not come from a dramatic moment. It came from a video. Marcus had left his laptop open on the coffee table one evening. James reached over to move it, and the screen woke up. It was a video of a football match, youth league, under 16s, a coaching session, a man on the sideline with a clipboard and a whistle. James watched it for 2 minutes, and then he realized. The man on the sideline had his same build, his same way of standing, his same way of holding the clipboard. The man was heavy. The man was large. The man was out there, on the sideline, in the rain, with a whistle, coaching. James stared at that screen for a long time. He did not say anything to Marcus, but that night he lay in bed and he thought about the sideline. He thought about the whistle. He thought about the parking lot and the voice that used to carry all the way to it. And he thought, I want to get back there. Not to be thin, not to be what he was at 30, just to get back outside, just to get back to a sideline, any sideline. He called his GP the next morning. He said, I need to start. Tell me where to start. She said, I am very glad you called. Let us start today. The work was unlike anything James had experienced. He had been physically strong his whole life. He had moved things and built things and carried things without thinking. His body had always done what he asked. Now he asked it to sit up from lying down. And it took 12 days to do it alone. 12 days. He did not tell Marcus. He did not tell Carol. He just tried. Every morning, quietly, by himself. On the 12th morning he sat up and the room was the same, and the television was off, and the house was quiet, and he sat there in the early morning dark, and he thought, okay, there you are. I knew you were still in there. The physical therapist came 3 times a week. A man named Tom who had the manner of someone who had seen everything and was surprised by nothing. Tom never looked at James with pity. He looked at him with the specific attention of someone assessing what a body can do and planning how to build on it. Tom said on the first session, we are not trying to turn back time. We are trying to build forward. James wrote that down. He keeps it on the table beside the couch. Months passed. The movement came back slowly. The walker arrived. Then the trips to the hallway. Then the front room. Then James standing at the front door, not going through it, just standing at it, getting used to it again. Tom said that was fine. Tom said the door will still be there tomorrow. There were bad days, many of them. Days when the old patterns roared back and the night ended badly, and James woke up hating himself. He called Tom on those mornings. Tom always picked up. He never made James feel like a failure for calling. He just said, "Yesterday happened. Today is different. What can we do today?" 8 months after that video on the laptop, James walked through his front door. Not to go anywhere, just to stand on the front step. Tom was beside him. Carol was in the doorway behind him. Marcus was at the end of the path pretending to check his phone. James stood on the step. He felt the outside air on his face. He looked at the driveway, at the car, at the road beyond. He stood there for a long time, and then he went back inside, and Carol made tea, and Marcus sat at the kitchen table, and they talked about nothing in particular. And James thought, "I went through the door. I went through the door." He has not been to a sideline yet. That is still coming. He knows it is still coming. For now, there is the front step and the path. And last week, he walked to the end of the path and back for the first time. Marcus was inside, pretending not to watch through the window. James could see him the whole time. When he got back to the door, Marcus was suddenly very busy with something in the kitchen. James did not say anything. He just came inside and sat down. And Marcus brought him a glass of water without being asked. And that was enough. That was more than enough. He is not finished. He knows he is not finished. The road is long, and some mornings the bench in the hallway still feels like the end of the world. But he goes through the door now. He stands on the step. He walks the path. He is getting closer to the street. He is getting closer to the sideline. He still has the whistle. He kept it all these years. It is on the table beside the couch, next to the piece of paper where he wrote, "We are not trying to turn back time. We are trying to build forward." He picks it up sometimes, just to hold it, just to remember what it felt like to be on the other side of a door. He is going to feel that again. He is going to get there. He just has to get through the door first. And he already did that. He already did that. He used to coach his son's football team. He is going to do it again. Not yet, but soon. He can feel it. The sideline is waiting, and so is he. Carol found the clipboard last month. It had been in the cupboard under the stairs for 4 years. She did not say anything. She just put it on the table beside the couch, next to the whistle, next to the piece of paper. James looked at it for a long time. He picked it up. It still had notes from the last session he coached. Positions, drills, a name circled, one of the boys who was struggling with his left foot. He wondered where that boy was now. He wondered if the boy ever got the left foot sorted. He set the clipboard back down. He looked at the window, the street outside, a car passing, someone walking a dog, the ordinary, unremarkable world going about its business. And he thought, I am going to be out there, not as the man I was, as the man I am becoming, heavier than I was, slower than I was, but out there, on the path, then the street, then the park, then the sideline, one thing at a time, one door at a time. He already went through the first one. That was the hardest one. Everything after that is just the next step, and the next step, and the next. Tom told him something else in one of their early sessions. He said, "The body remembers everything it has ever done. Every game, every practice, every Saturday morning in the rain. It is all still in there. We just have to remind it." James thinks about that a lot. His body remembers the sideline. His body remembers the whistle. His body remembers what it felt like to be the man with the voice that carried to the parking lot. He is reminding it. Every morning, every step down the hallway, every trip to the front door, every time he stands on the step and feels the air on his face, he is reminding his body. He is saying, I remember too, and I am coming back. Not to who I was, to who I am going to be, which is still someone worth showing up for, which is still a father, which is still a husband, which is still the man with the clipboard and the whistle and the voice that carries. He went through the door. That is the whole story. Everything else is just what happens next. And what happens next is everything.